Alright guys, Bargy Tinkering back at you with another video. Today we're going to go over how to build a cartridge in GRT, or Gordon's Reloading Tube, for those in the know. We're going to be building a 7 PRC. One thing to make sure you have handy, and I've tried to make this video a couple times before, and my computer's froze, the program's froze on me, and I've had a bit of issues. So we're going to be making 7 PRC. There is some writing on this. You can get this Saami page, or this page of cartridge and chamber drawing from Saami. I highly recommend it. This will help you out immensely. But we're going to go over just real quick thought, just something I've been thinking about. Small things making big changes. Now, to kind of go with that, a bit of personal experience. Don't get fat by eating one Thanksgiving dinner. It's usually the fruit pie and monster in the morning. Don't ask me how I know. But if we're going to be making changes, hopefully we're making changes to improve ourselves. That's the goal here. We're making those small changes to develop into a better person. So that's my little tidbit for you guys. And without further ado, let's get into how to build a cartridge in GRT. Alright guys, I have GRT pulled up. Actually, let me go and show you how I got here. So this is Case Designer. You'll click on your case right here. You'll come to File, and then there'll be a drop down for New, and it'll bring up this guy. One thing that I would do is bring up something with the same parent case, like the 300 PRC. I'm doing the 7 PRC, but we're bringing up the 300. That way we know what GRT is looking for. I will say another thing that to have handy is this 7mm PRC printout from Saami. I've tried to make this video a few times. That's why I got some notes right here. And yeah, it's been a bit of a headache. GRT has not been happy. I will just go over what everything is. When I've been entering stuff on the cartridge side, it just starts freaking out, and I can't enter more than one value at a time, so it is very frustrating. So I'm just going to go over things and hopefully keep things very, very simple for you guys. So name designation, we'll enter 7mm PRC. Type, it's a Magnum, so you'll go over, click Magnum. You can enter today's date, origin, Hornady, creator. It's going to be used. Sherbet factor, put as 0.5. Just standard for GRT. I won't worry too much about it. Pressure max, just worry about putting 65,000 PSI and make sure you're in PSI and not bar. That will change some things for you. If we go over to the cartridge side, that's what we're going to be looking for in reference to this, say, 300 PRC. So it's looking for L1, L2, L3, and L6. If we look over to the drawing right here, L1 is the base of the shoulder, L2 is the neck shoulder junction, L3 is the top of the neck, or your case overall length, and L6 is your cartridge overall length. So we will enter those values in, and if we look kind of here, I will get a better one of these. I'll get PDF kind of put up of this, but L1, you'll enter 1.8194. L2 is 1.9932. L3 is 2.280 minus 20 thou. So you could put 2.280, and if I'm not mistaken, the trim tune length is 2.260 inches. And your L6 is your max cartridge overall length, which is 3.340 inches. So that's what you will enter in right there. Next thing down here, at least what's looking for on the cartridge, is your case neck. So it's just looking for your diameters right here, which looks to be H1 and H2. If we look over at this cartridge case right here, H1 and H2, it's just the diameters right there. So that on the 7 PRC will come here. It's going to be 317 thou. So we will enter that in both of those. Going on to the shoulder cone, that is going to be this guy right here. Now, how we conventionally say things here in the United States with it on this drawing is a 30-degree angle. Now, what GRT is looking for is that doubled. It's looking for that angle right there. That's an alpha right there. That's going to be your Greek letter alpha. So you're going to put 60 in right there. Your S, let's make sure we are actually wanting that because we are on shoulder cone. There doesn't look to be really anything that we're looking for S, so we don't need it. Yep, so there's they have it labeled as junction cone right here. We don't need S. And then we have our R min and R1 min and R2. So if we look over the drawing, R1 min is at that radius at the base of the shoulder, and R2 is at the shoulder neck junction. So on the R1, it's looking for that minimum radius. So we'll come back to our sheet. That is going to be 30 thou right here for our R1 min. And our R2 is going to be 1/8 of an inch or 125 thou. So you can go ahead, enter those values in for R1 min and R2. You'll click on it, you'll be able to enter it in. Now if we go to the case base, it's referenced over here on the drawing as the case head. We are looking at R, which R is your rim height. So if we go over here to our rim height to find for our drawing, it is going to be right here. So that's 50 thou. So under 50 thou, it's looking for R1. So R1 is going to be this. So you're 532. That is what we're going to enter there for our R1. Then we are looking, if we reference here, we don't need an R3. We do need an E, which this is why I pulled up the 300 PRC as a reference cartridge, because that value is not given in the Saami drawings. Because on Saami drawings, you go out to this 200 thou mark right here, and then you get this diameter right here, which is a 532. Now what it's asking for is the diameter right here, which is going to be bigger than 532. So that's why I pulled this up, and we can reference this. So actually, we're not wanting that diameter with E, we're actually just wanting that height. But still, we needed this to reference that. So that is 128 thou, so just over 1/8 of an inch. So we'd enter that for E. E1 is going to be that inner radius. So we actually have that on the drawing here. So that's 475 thou. E min. That right here is going to, let me make sure that I know what we're looking at. So this is our E min right here. That's just the width of that gap right there. And that is going to be given on our Saami sheet of 37 thou. That's given right there. So we need to zoom back out of here. Our F value, if we come back down over here, that's just to that top of the angle, or that relief angle right here on the rim of the head. We are given that value. We are going, it's going to be 16 thou, but what you're taking is this 34 thou right here, and you're taking 50 thou minus that 34 thou, and that's how we're getting that 16 thou. So come back out. So we'll need to put that in for the E min. Our delta is going to be this. That is going to be asking for this angle right here, which is 35 degrees, which is given in our Saami sheet right here, 35 degrees. And then it'll ask for a beta angle, which is this angle right here, which is also 35 degrees. And you can go up to 50 degrees, but just put 35. It will keep everything nice, handy for you. Going on down to the powder chamber, it is looking for your diameters right here. which is also why I have this reference pulled up. So we have, oops, too far. So this right here, which I was mentioning earlier, we have this measurement out to 200 thou, which we're actually wanting this diameter right here, which is going to be larger than this 532 thou. Just what the program's looking for. It's to be able to get this wall angle right here. So because the 300 PRC, 65 PRC, 7 PRC, 375 Ruger all have the same parent case, I am going to assume it's the same. It wouldn't surprise, it really wouldn't surprise me if it is the same. If it's different, that really would surprise me, but especially for this P1 532 7, I'd go with that, put that in there. And then for P2, it's going to be different because that is at the base of the shoulder. So we will now reference our drawing right here. And we are 517.6 thou. So we'll enter that for P2 over here. We don't need any more information. We don't need any more information for P0 and V. And then we just need our projectile. And what's asking for is the diameter of the projectile. And that is going to be 284. So go ahead and enter that for your G1. And that is everything for the chamber side or cartridge side. Now let's go into the chamber side. I am going to close that guy down. We'll go chamber. We'll open up the chamber. Very, very similar looking. Let's pull this up. Okay. So chamber side is a little bit different. They will use similar nomenclature for naming everything. We will need to get some creative with some of the math and what we're doing, just to make sure we get all the dimensions right. So obviously we have our reference right here for what we're looking for lengths. So we are looking L1, L2, L3, pretty similar. So the base of the shoulder, top of the shoulder neck junction for L2, L3 actually goes to right there. So that base of that 45-degree angle that's normally right there. So L1, we will go to our chamber side, is going to be 18145 inches. L2 is 1.9875 inches. L3 is 2.29 inches. Now I will say with this one, we'll be needing to remember L3. It'll be used a lot for like calculating our G and a couple other reference marks. There's going to be this N right here. So what I will usually do in my head when it'll want the difference in these, and what I'll do is I'll normally go to, hey, it's really close to 300 thou right there. So I'll go from 300 thou to here plus 10 thou. And I will do that and list it off just so you guys are aware. It's just kind of a little bit how my brain works. When I'm seeing numbers that are close, it makes addition a bit quicker for me. So now that we're going from there, we are going on to our breech. So we're looking for R1 and E. That's all we're looking for. So if we come down, R1 is this diameter right here. So that's going to be 50.5348. And then if we go to this height E, that's going to be very similar. This is another reason why I brought this up, because we don't have that distance because we have that 200 thou. And that's not what's needed for this distance here, for that E distance. So that one is still 128 thou. So go ahead, you'd put that in for that E, which I am not seeing a reference for on this chamber side, at least right in here. Looks like it is for the powder chamber. So go ahead and put that E right there in the powder chamber. Just a little note for you. So we are going down to the powder chamber. Blech. So we need that P1. And that's going to be kind of that similar thing where it's not listed here exactly. So we have, so this is why we have it. So 533.5335 inches. So we put that in right there with our P1. P2 is going to be different because it is going to be looking for, I just tried to use the mouse pad to show with the cursor where this is. This dimension is right here. Yeah, that's how smart I am. So that's going to be our diameter P2, 0.5187. See how it's different right here? You kind of need both. This one is needed reference. This one is going to be different because if you remember, 300 PRC is longer than the 7 PRC. But we get those in there. Going on to this junction cone, and they have it named the exact same, so it keeps everything there. Angle of alpha, that's this angle right here. Remember, it's going to be 30 degrees doubled, 60 degrees. Now it's looking for that S dimension. That S dimension, what it's looking for is, S is down here with the cursor, and it's going to this imaginary point up here. If you want to enter that and put it in, you can. I'm not going to worry about it. What you would do if you were wanting to calculate it, you'd make it into something actually kind of nice, is it would be a 60-30 right triangle. Now, some of you guys are like, oh, that's back in trig days. And if I'm not mistaken, with a 60-30 right triangle, you have this length right here. That's one base. You'd have your radius, at least in this part, this is going to be radius and not the diameter. So you take your P2, divide by 2, which if we looked right here, that'd be 0.5187. We would take that 0.5187, we would divide by 2, and we would get 259.25935, I want to say. And we would take that and we would double it. So we would take our L1. So yeah, pretty much you can take your L1 and add it to P2, and that's going to get you what you're looking for. Because if I remember right, 60-30 right triangle is you have this length right here. It's this leg is going to be doubled, and then this leg compared to your hypotenuse, that's going to be multiplied by the square root of 3. That's if I remember correctly. We can kind of check my math actually right here. So we have L1 listed right here, 2.1165, and if we were to add P2 to it, 0.561, we should be getting a 2.632, and I might be off, which I probably am. And I am. So don't listen to me on that one. Dang, that doesn't make sense. Okay. Give me one sec. I gotta make sure I'm doing stuff right. All right, just a quick Google search. I was wrong. So 60-30 right triangles. So it's this. So you take a times the square root of 3. I messed up, and this one was double. So I had my rule mixed up. I'm not going to worry about multiplying that by the square root of 3. But I messed up, and I am finding the correction myself. Yay. Now back to your regular regularly scheduled program. So I'm not going to worry about calculating S. Might give you an error. If so, take your L1 and then add half of P2 times the square root of 3, and that will give you S. Dang it. My engineering mind is getting to me. I have to whip out the TI-84. I'm sorry, guys. Ooh. My TI-84 is dead. It's now dead to me. I haven't used it in a bit. Haha, backup calculator. Good old Casio. So what was our P2 again? 0.5187 divided by 2 equals that times by, oh wait, nope, wrong. Boop, boop, boop. So we're going to go 3 square root times by, what was that? 0.25935 equals 449 just for rounding. So that one would be L1, which would be 18145. So we'd go plus 1.8145. I am just 18145. So we would be 2.2637. So for those of you that want to know S, there you go. There's your value. Always have a backup calculator. It helps. Yeah, you guys really saw me nerd out there. R1 max, same thing right here at the shoulder. R2, that's given. R1 max, 30 thou right there. 1/8 of a thou, or 1/8 of an inch. 125 for your R2. On to the collar. H1, H2. So you have 0.319. That is going to be your H1, and your H2 is the top, which is that's going to be 0.318. Commencement of rifling, or as we would call it, kind of your lead angle and your free bore. So your G, what it's looking for on your G is from your L3 to the top of G. So what we're going to be looking here is we're going to be taking this value right here and subtracting L3. Now, let me remind you, I did say I was going to be averaging this to or messing this to 300 thou and adding 10 thou at the end. So 300 thou, so we're 385.1 thou plus 10, so we're 395 thou. So that's going to be your G value. We're also looking for our G1. And G1 is a diameter that we're looking for. So that diameter right there, and that is right before that lead angle, that is going to be 0.2846. So that's what we would enter there. And then we're looking for our alpha 1. Let me find where our alpha 1. Alpha 1 is in reference to that. Now remember, this is GRT, so it's going to be double whatever we see right here. That's 45-degree angle, so we will put 90 in for that. And if we look over here, our alpha 1, 90 degrees. I is your lead angle, 1.5 degrees. Now it's listed here in minutes. So 1 degree, 30 minutes. Now half an hour is 30 minutes. So that's where you get your half. Your H value, that's just going to be your, oh, that's not N, that's an H. See, my chicken scratch is terrible. So your difference right here is 16.7 thou. That's what you would enter in right there. So that would be this value, this 2.3067 minus 2.290. So that's what you would enter in for the H. We have an S value, which I need to find. So that's going to be your L3. So S value is going to be this 2540 minus L3, which is going to be 1/4 of an inch or 250 thou. So that's what we'll enter there. We are looking, yep, we have the I, don't need W. So we are golden there. Headspace, this FE, 4 thousandths. That's just kind of going to be here, breech faced right here. It's not, I don't believe it's listed right here, but put 4 thousandths in. I'm also getting that from GRT, that's F sub E. Just put it in right here. Your barrel, what it's looking for, that diameter F, is going to be your groove diameter, which is going to be 0.277, which is right there, 0.277. Actually, bore diameter, never mind, bore diameter 0.277, groove diameter is 0.284, which that will be your Z value right here. Your Q, I don't know what they're doing to get that value. It's inches squared, so something looks like it has inches squared in it. Do I know what they're doing to get that value? No, so just leave it blank. Now for your rifling, that's going to be your B, N, and your U. This B is going to be your width, which is going to be 110 thou. Anywhere from 110 to 112 thou. This N is going to be your number of grooves, which is going to be 6, which is given right here. And then U is going to be your twist rate, which is 1 in 8. So you'll put 8 inches right there. And with that, after you named everything, got all that done, that is how you build a cartridge. So you will go up here and save, or save as, either one, but you'll save it and you will have that cartridge in GRT. It will be able to be there for your use. What you'll probably be able to do, I'm going to discard that, is you'll be able to adjust your case volume, and then you can save things in GRT as needed. Anyways, guys, I hope you find this helpful. Hopefully it helps you with your wildcats, your 7 PRC builds, whatever you're looking for to build in GRT. Hopefully this is helpful to you guys. I know this isn't perfect. GRT was giving me fits. But if you liked the video, like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to see how to build a bullet, because you can even do the same thing, because there are different bullets coming out. I've put the 245 Elite Hunter in there. Very similar process. Burger is pretty nice with this stuff because they put a lot of data in their bullets on their website. But with that, guys, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one.